What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ango, and welcome back to the Ango Show. Today, we actually have quite a few things to discuss regarding AEW, including a top AEW star who reportedly wants out of the company. Also, an AEW star has re-signed with the company, and we got to talk about All In heading back to Wembley. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Hey, and if you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click subscribe. This way you never miss a video on the channel. I actually want to just offer a quick update on a story that I talked about the other day regarding Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Basically, Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer had come out and they're talking about them being injured, and that's why they're being off of TV. I've spoken to multiple sources who have confirmed to me that isn't true, and you could expect to see them soon. As always, I like to keep you guys updated with stories because we do react to everything that's happening in the pro wrestling world. And when I am told that something is wrong, I'm going to come out and give you guys that update, which is probably why you guys should subscribe in the first place. Now let's talk about AEW heading back to Wembley Stadium in 2026. During his appearance on the Rich Eisen show, Tony Khan spoke about All In and said that it will be back in Wembley Stadium in 2026. For those who didn't know, Wembley Stadium this year was booked because of Coldplay, had a concert that was booked multiple years in advance, and that is why AEW moved All In to Texas at the Globe Life Field. And, obviously, this is a big deal. Wembley Stadium, it was the first All In, second All In, now it's the third All In. And, yeah, I think like this is one of those things where it kind of makes sense for AEW to go back. I think Wembley Stadium was really good to AEW, but I also think it's important to realize that sometimes tradition isn't always good. And what I mean by that is the fact that AEW, for a long time, they try to keep things traditional. Wembley Stadium being for All In, Double or Nothing being for Las Vegas, All Out being Chicago. And we're starting to see Tony Khan is breaking tradition with certain events. Now, in the case of All In going back to Wembley, I have no problem with it. I'm not bothered by it. I don't even think it's a bad idea. But I do question if maybe AEW should possibly consider going to other stadiums in America. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure if there is this huge demand in America for AEW. Might be controversial take, but 20,000, maybe 25,000 will be at All in Texas versus the 78 or 80,000 that they had in Wembley. Just food for thought, something to consider, obviously. That brings us to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen. AEW has reportedly re-signed Harley Cameron. Now, this is a very interesting story, especially when we talk about the story that's coming up in just a little bit. But it appears that Harley Cameron has re-signed with AEW for multiple years. A lot of people are obviously big fans of Harley Cameron. It is very clear that people are very, very big fans of Harley Cameron backstage. Um, this is one of those things where I think Harley Cameron incredibly funny. I think she's talented. I think she brings great comedic timing. I feel like professional wrestling needs that. I think, you know, I think that's like kind of normal, in professional wrestling. And now it's being said that she's re-signed multiple years with the company, which I believe Fightful is reporting until 2029. But this is a great thing for AEW, honestly. Like, I think it gets kind of confusing sometimes with the way AEW prioritizes talent, but I'm never going to knock them for re-signing talent like this because I do feel like there's a lot of added benefit and value to somebody who is a comedy character. And the thing about Harley Cameron is she may not be the best in-ring performer, which is why I think it's so funny looking at the IWC because they try to make it seem like AEW is all about the in-ring performance. Harley Cameron is not that. But that's okay. You don't need to be that. You know what I mean? And I think she's just so entertaining and so valuable to the product. I think she's going to do great things in AEW. It'll be very interesting to see if they can ever turn her into a much more serious act. But I think the way she's been presented now and the way that she continues to be presented is great. And I think really My big takeaway that I've always had with AEW re-signing talent is like you got to re-sign the talent who want to be there, right? Harley Cameron is a great example of somebody who wants to be there. And so when you see that, I think that's a good thing. And that's why I can't necessarily knock it. Now, a couple things I do want to mention here is obviously we don't know the terms of this deal in the sense of how much money she's being paid to re-sign with AEW, but AEW is known for paying pretty damn well. And also, I don't really know if WWE would have been interested in bringing her back to the company because she wasn't really given like an opportunity or anything there. So that is something to obviously factor in. But I do think this is good. This is good news. And one final thing I have to say about Harley Cameron. We talk about this a lot on the channel. There are talents who get momentum, and sometimes WWE or AEW just simply don't get it right and they don't capitalize off of it. Harley Cameron is somebody who I think probably should have been capitalized on going into Grand Slam Australia. They could have done the hot potato with the title. But the good news here is that Harley Cameron continues to be relevant, and that's mainly because of her own doing, not necessarily booking. And that's one of the big reasons why I think it's a good idea to keep her. And that brings us to our final topic. Britt Baker. Now, there has been tons and tons of rumors and speculation regarding Britt Baker, and this is where things get even more crazy because, well, a new report has dropped that Britt Baker is trying to leave AEW. So, Bodyslam.net came out with a report that basically Britt Baker is trying to get out of her contract. If you guys aren't subscribed to their Patreon, you guys could check it out. You guys could read the detailed report. But they've come out and basically said that she's been trying to get out of her contract with AEW. And as of right now, AEW has not complied with this. And it doesn't look like they have any plans to comply with this. Now, this is where things obviously this is where things get interesting. She's reportedly actively seeking to part ways with the company. She has cryptic posts on social media, that's very clear. Baker has not been used since November 2024, and now things are even crazier because of the fact that she hasn't been on TV, probably won't be on TV, and WWE has Evolution happening in 2 weeks. So it is very clear that this is another Penta Ray Phoenix situation where Britt Baker apparently doesn't want to be in the company. Britt Baker probably wants to go to WWE. WWE probably wants to bring her in. Makes a lot of sense. Britt Baker will thrive in WWE. But I cannot get over the fact that this is another talent who is an AEW original, somebody who was beloved by the AEW fan base. And because of the fact that she was removed from TV, they've all of a sudden turned their back on her. Now it's Britt Baker's not a good wrestler. Britt Baker's problematic. She always wanted to be in WWE. As far as that goes, I can't tell you what Britt Baker was thinking, but what I could tell you is how Britt Baker has been booked in AEW was awesome. Then 2024 came and things just changed. And all the attention went to Mercedes and all the attention went to Tony Storm. And it was very clear that AEW doesn't have plans for her. They're not letting her out of her contract, probably because they don't want her showing up at Evolution. They probably don't want her showing up in Pittsburgh. They probably don't want her showing up anytime soon. But we just spoke about how Harley Cameron wants to be there. If somebody doesn't want to be there, why pay them to do nothing? This is one of those things I will never understand. I don't think it makes big business sense. I don't think it sends a message to anybody that's a free agent. And ultimately, it just becomes problematic. You guys can let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And by the way, if you guys aren't subscribed, you probably should click that subscribe button because there's going to be a lot of updates here. Peace.